the All-American Spookshow podcast. We hope you enjoy the show.
All right, welcome once again to another episode of the All-American Spookshow podcast. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Will and Smoke.
What's up?
What's up?
And today we are going to review / discuss the 1977 classic Suspiria. Not to be confused with the one that just came out in theaters, of course. Have either of you had a chance to see that one since we're on that?
No.
Yeah, I saw it shortly after, I guess it came out, like maybe a week or so. I don't think it played too long. It's like a limited maybe release or something.
How was that one compared to the classic?
Like, well, first of all, the classic Suspiria is up there for me. It's like one of my top. And I remember hearing about, there was like speak of a remake going as far back as I think 2008, like 10 years ago. They were talking about doing it, and just all kind of things happened to where it fell through. Like, it was a different director attached to it at that time. I can't remember who exactly. I think it was David Gordon Green, actually, was originally attached to it. And then at some point, I mean, a whole bunch of things happened, fell through. So. But and I remember, like, when I first heard it announced, I'm like, why? You know, I'm not completely 100% against remakes at all. You know, there's some, I think, a lot of hit and miss ones for me. There's maybe more misses than hits. But I'm not completely against the idea of remakes. But when I first heard about that one, I was kind of, you know, like, how do you even go about remaking Suspiria anyway? So I wasn't on board at first, I guess. But the more I heard about the new one when it was about to come out, yeah, I guess it piqued my interest a little bit more. So, but then upon finally seeing it, I was a little bit. I mean, I was pretty much thought that it here and there certain scenes had a lot of potential, but overall, I just thought it was a bit overlong and, you know, drawn out. Kind of disappointed with it overall, I guess. But I just thought it had moments here and there that were pretty good, and I thought the conclusion was pretty cool. It had a pretty crazy conclusion. I mean, totally different than the original.
That's what I was going to say. Without giving away any spoilers, was it different from the original?
Yeah, there was they used kind of like, I guess, the skeletal framework of the original as far as it, you know, dealing with the three mothers. Well, the one mother made her Suspiriorum, the witch. You know. So that plot element was there, and some of the characters were there, but a lot of it got, I guess, you know, switched around a lot. So it definitely wasn't spot on.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, you know, you don't really need a remake to be spot on anyways. You know, what's the point of remaking it if it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake?
Right. Now, I forget how long it was. I know it was well over, I think it's pretty much over 2 hours long. And there was a lot of that I think could have been trimmed down just to get a little bit tighter.
I'm sure, because the original was an hour and 32 minutes. So if they're stretching it out by over 30 minutes, that's probably a lot of uselessness in there somewhere.
Yeah, and they tied in some. Well, the part I kind of thought was cool about it too was the fact that it's set in 1977 when the first one came out.
Oh yeah,
it's set in Germany, so there's a lot of political things that were going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The movie that it was set in, and they kind of incorporated that into the movie too.
I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was like, you know, a modern setting, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because the original Suspiria also being set in Germany. So, but I mean, there was no political. It was all, you know, the original one being more of a fairy tale aspect to it. This one had a little bit of that, but kind of shied away from that side of it, and went more towards sort of political associations and things. So.
I'm sure we'll eventually get around to it. I mean, like we'll put some space. We'll put some space between the classic and the remake, so it'll probably be a while, but I'm sure we'll eventually get around to it.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to rewatch it again too, just to, because I mean, for another thing too, it was late at night. Like I said, it was a long movie. We saw the last screening of it, so by the time it was ending, I was basically about ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because being that long and being kind of slow going, I need to revisit it.
These days for me, man, if it's not like a superhero Marvel movie that's over 2 hours, just about anything else, like after an hour and a half, I'm ready to bail.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't help too that, you know, most of the theaters now have the recliner seats. You know, I'm spoiled with that. So once you recline back and it's like 11 o'clock at night and this movie is 2 hours long and it's kind of slow and draggy for me.
Yeah.
I was fighting it at the end just to stay awake for it. You know. So I'm going to revisit it again. I thought it was okay. Definitely wasn't blown away by it. My fiance, on the other hand, she really liked it a lot. So, so there's another perspective there. She loved it, or I don't know if she necessarily liked it as much as the original, but she enjoyed it more than I did. So I'm gonna rewatch it again though and see what I think.
So Will, I guess we'll move on to what you've been doing, what you've been watching lately. Anything new here lately?
No, pretty much a lot of the same. Just watching my DC shows. I finally got to somewhat get caught up on The Walking Dead. I'm not quite caught up to what's airing tonight, but I did finally see like the big episode for Rick.
Yeah, we're recording this on this is Sunday, November 25th. So I think the mid-season finale is tonight of this season of The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. I too actually have finally caught up to, because I think I mentioned some in the prior podcast that we didn't have any cable or satellite right now. So, but I finally was able to catch up with The Walking Dead up to the point of I think the last Sunday I missed, and then of course tonight I have to catch again too. So.
Where did you say you were in it, Will?
I think I watched the episode, like about half of the episode following the Rick episode.
Okay, so you both got past or at least up to the time jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
We're not giving out. Are we giving spoilers or no? I mean, at this point, I'm sure.
I'm sure anyone that's listening to this either doesn't watch that or is all about it. So,
right.
And before we go into it, just for those that may not have listened to the first two episodes, we are a spoiler-filled podcast. We'll be talking about the classic Suspiria today. There'll be spoilers, but if you haven't seen it in the last 40 years, then that's on you. But even like if we're discussing The Walking Dead, whatever's current, as long as we're up to it, just know that we'll probably be spoiling it if we're talking about it. So go ahead, Smoke. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was, well, I had a lot of questions, of course, and then because I know I've read that I think Rick's going to go on to do movies, right? He's going to be in the Walking Dead movies that they were talking about doing. At least that's what I heard.
Yes.
That's 100%. But then I guess that his story arc will somehow be completed in that, because at the end of it, he's not dead, but they don't know that. The people
yeah, that
everybody else doesn't know that yet. So.
In the marketing for it, they made no secret that this was Rick Grimes' final episodes, but they didn't say he's going to die, or they just said that this is it as far as the Walking Dead regular episodes are concerned.
Yeah, with him in it. So I assume he's not coming back even after the movies, right? He'll be, I'm guessing, done, or at least at this point.
Yeah, I mean, unless they change their plans, I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, but I mean, they're also going to market very similarly to the show that just came out, because I mean, I believe the whole reason that he's leaving is to spend time with his kids who are, starting to grow up. I mean, if this turns into essentially the Simpsons and it goes on for 80 years,
he might be back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they could find some way to ease him back in. Because
now, I don't know if you guys picked up on this or heard it or whatever, but that last episode with Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, that was also the last episode for Maggie. I can't think of the actress's name.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That was the last episode for Maggie, too?
Yeah, she's done, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're basically, I guess they're kind of explaining it away, like, she's away tending to other things right now, somewhere else, helping another community build. Gotcha. Huh. But it's because she's about to have her own show on ABC or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So, but it seems like they're leaving the door open for her too, to either come back. That's why they didn't really advertise it, because at some point maybe you'll probably see her again, but it just might be a while.
Okay. I was searching for her name just now, just so we could kind of put that in there. And what I'm seeing now is Maggie will return for The Walking Dead season 10.
Oh,
that's the current season, right? Season 10, or is that next season? What? I'm blanking on what.
I don't know. This was relayed 3 days ago.
Okay, so that means she'll either be back at the end of this season or beginning of next. But yeah, so she'll be gone for a while, I guess. Then.
Her name, I believe, is Lauren Cohan.
Yeah, that sounds right. Lauren Cohan, yeah. I think that's it.
Wasn't she in a movie too, not too long ago, or recent? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Mark
If it was a horror
Wahlberg movie, I believe.
Oh, was it?
And she also played.
Also,
She also played
27 Miles or something like that.
She was
okay.
also Batman's mom in
Along with Negan.
Dawn of Justice, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Negan was his dad.
No, I thought Negan was his co-mom.
What?
Well, hey, at least they didn't like kill off Rick and then decide, later that he wanted to come back and have like a Bobby Ewing Dallas episode where he wakes up, he's in the shower and turned out the whole season was a dream before that.
They could still do it.
It still could.
It's weird. The show went on for 15 years, but for some reason Rick died in his own dream and woke up back in the hospital.
No, he wakes up back in the hospital from the first episode, and it turns out the whole thing is a dream.
I was about to say they could easily end this show that way. Like 10 years from now, just he just woke up and he's still in that hospital bed.
Yeah.
You want to talk about pissing off a fan base? I hope
that whole Dallas Bobby Ewing thing would be nothing compared to that. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see it now. I want that to happen now.
And while we're talking about that too, I'm not sure about the comic books because I was reading Walking Dead for a while, but like I'd mentioned also earlier before, a lot of things ended up going to the wayside when it comes to
it's like
collecting, still buying.
I still buy the comics monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I always say about it, it's like they take a wide approach to get to the same spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like a lot of the things.
A lot of different things happen.
Yeah, a lot of things that are going on in the show still go on in the comics, but just in a different way, and they arrive there a different way,
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like it's very similar to the Suspiria redo, where they use the skeleton and go back, and that's what we call a callback.
And they needed 30 more minutes to tell it. Myself, I've been I've been trying to catch up on random shows and stuff, but I actually finished watching what is it, Haunting of Hill House. I think I blanked on the name of it on Netflix. Excellent, highly recommend it. I've been watching some Last Drive-In, with Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder. Some of the previous.
Well, I saw the first one.
I'm still about 7 or 8 movies in on the first run, back from the summer, and and I watched the first 2 from on Thanksgiving night. He did Dinners of Death.
Oh yeah, yes. I was unfortunately out in the melee of the whole Black Friday madness thing to have missed as it aired live, but I did watch it the other night. We watched Texas Chainsaw, and it was late. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning by the time I went to bed. So I still ended up watching the opening to Hills Have Eyes.
I haven't heard, but I don't think they broke Shudder this time, because I'd heard the first time it really fucked it up.
Yeah. That's why I was ready to go that first night. Had all my stuff ready, and then was in that whole thing of what the hell's going on. It's not working, and I thought it was on my end, as everybody probably did at first.
Yeah.
And then I go on Google and find out what's going on, and find out it was it's just so many damn people. Traffic it is. So I was in part of that when it was happening, and then finally was able to see it. I think the next day when they put them all. Well, when they started putting them all up as they were going, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I was able to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre Thursday night, and then I got about 40% through The Hills Have Eyes before I had to stop.
Okay.
But I'll finish those at some point.
You seen Hills Have Eyes before though?
Oh yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And the remake.
Yeah, I've seen all those ones. I think that he's playing before, but of course, always love watching it with his commentary anyway. Cause he's always informative and interesting and funny anyhow. So.
Yeah, I was actually watching, or maybe I haven't finished it yet. I was watching Blood Feast, from the first marathon.
Oh yeah.
And man, he really knows a lot about that movie, man. Good Lord.
Yeah. The hell. Speaking of that, Blood Feast was basically the first splatter movie.
Yeah. The first
even though it was more the first comical gore. Or whatever, but.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's some horrible acting. Good Lord.
Yeah, well, I do love that. I have a fondness for Herschel Gordon Lewis too, I guess, and it's more of an acquired taste over the years, I guess, because the first time I saw a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie was back in the 80s, I guess. You read a little bit about it, it's really gory and this, that, and then you see it and you're like, it's a struggle to get through the acting part of it at first. I mean, then, I've gotten used to it, of course, over the years. So.
Will, we talk about movies that I know you haven't even heard of, much less seen. You have to see this one.
Blood Feast.
Like, we need to get this one in the rotation
Yeah.
soon because that
Yeah, we
one,
should. I think we should.
my lord.
Hell, you know what would be? I think what we should do also maybe is we could do like a back-to-back, an old and semi-new, not really new, but I don't know, Josh, if you've seen Blood Diner,
Yeah,
which is sort of a retelling. You seen that one?
I've actually got that on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The Vestron series.
Yeah. That movie's hilarious. I love it. And that was basically an homage to Blood Feast too, so that might make an interesting little duo.
Yeah, a double bill.
Yeah.
I just bought Deadpool 2 on Blu-ray. So.
Nice. Yeah.
I just wanted to get in on the conversation.
Yay! I bought a movie.
Oh man, we bought tons of them on that Black Friday. In fact, the whole Black Friday thing, we'll go out in it, but not necessarily get anything of to stand in line for electronics or getting that kind of craziness, but really just to go to Best Buy, Walmart, and Target and score all the Blu-rays and DVDs for cheap.
Yeah, I got into. I went to Walmart yesterday. It was on Saturday, the day after Black Friday, and I was still able to get a handful of Blu-rays and DVDs.
Yeah, they had. They lost one of ours. We were in it was at Best Buy, and it was chaos. Of course, I was standing. My fiance was in one line, and I was in the other. We kind of like split it up because we both had stacks of DVDs, and Blu-rays, and the lady was ringing it up, and kind of talking and ringing it up and all that. And then she knocked the whole stack over on the floor, which I didn't think anything of. Whatever, because she picked them up and put them back on the counter and everything. I get home, going through the DVDs, and Rambo: First Blood Part 2 was missing. Like what? I had all because we bought that whole trilogy. The 4K. That they just put out of them because they were like $7.
Wow!
So I had all three with all the other movies we had in there, but that one wasn't there. But shit, she knocked the stack over and was talking and probably just picked them up and thought she got them all.
It probably slid under the cash register and it's still there for 10 years.
It actually. Well, we went back the next day, or the next day after that, whatever it was, to see what was left, I guess, and see if there's anything else we missed, and also because I called and it was crazy. Nobody ever answered the phone. We were on hold for like half an hour, and I just hung up. Figured we go to Columbia and take care of it again the next day. So when we did, that was like she was there. I went up to her and she remembered the whole thing. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I found the Rambo: First Blood Part 2 underneath the thing, but I didn't realize it was from that. I guess she had forgotten about the whole stack falling over. She just thought it was, and she put it back on the shelf. So we went there to go find it, and all of them are gone. Like it was just Rambo 3 and First Blood were there, but not 2.
Of course.
So we ended up getting something else. So that was a Black Friday debacle.
Damn you, Rambo! Smokey, you been watching anything new, good recently? Anything interesting?
Well, we already discussed, I guess, about the Joe Bob. We saw. I've seen Texas Chainsaw all good. Who knows how many times, but that. Sinners, Beth. We saw. I try to remember what the heck movie was the last one we saw now. Let's come back to that one.
Any news going on?
Oh yeah, I know what it was now. Okay. Now I remember what it was. It was that new Fantastic Beasts movie.
I haven't seen the first one. Are those pretty good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's a continuation of the last Fantastic Beasts, which was more of had a little bit more maybe humor and everything going on in that one, and this one gets a little bit more serious, kind of like I guess the Harry Potter series itself did near the end.
Any other things we should get off the table before we get into Suspiria? Anything new? Anything old? New business, old business?
I
guess we should address the fact that it's been a month between episodes. We just had a number of delays and us all getting on the same page schedule-wise to record. But we'll get it together and we'll get our shit together, and hopefully we can do this in a more regular schedule going forward, since it was a month in between. Here is the trailer for the 1977 cult horror classic Suspiria.
Roses are red, violets are blue, but the iris is the flower that will mean the end of it.
You can run from Suspiria. Suspiria. from Suspiria. But you cannot escape Suspiria. The only thing more terrifying than the last 12 minutes of Suspiria are the first 92.